10,000 policies at our agency, all of the auto policies, everyone that called in and said, bottom out my miles. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me get that done. Boom, 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 boom. And then the world opens back up and people go back to their commutes.
Yeah.
And they're not going to tell their insurance company.
No.
Why would
by
they?
the way, I'm
They're
only
liking
traveling
insurance
40,000
figure out. Yeah.
miles.
They're liking those lower rates, right?
Yeah.
And so now the insurance companies in that area are not collecting enough premium for the increased risk there. That's fraud.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
it's a small fraud.
Yeah.
People don't
Yeah.
think of it as fraud.
A little white fraud.
That's right. That's right. But those little white
fraud.
those little white frauds,
They add up
they were adding up to a massive
to a great white fraud.
that we're having.
Correct.
Can we increase the base rate?
Yeah.
The base rate gets pushed out across all of California, and all of the companies have to adopt it within that year.
Wow.
Well, when you have somebody that's trying to get reelected,
They're like, that's going to make me look bad. And you're like, no, your face is what makes you look bad. This isn't helping.
So, I don't know. It's waking up in the morning, my suit and tie, looking at myself in the mirror going, I hate you.
What have you done with yourself?
You're about to go and be a monster for the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
Now get out there and make some money.
Now get out there. Smack your own butt. Oh,
Okay, here we go.
Thanks, Coach. Welcome to the Cam and Joe Show. My name's Joe with my good friend Cam.
Happy Friday, buddy. How are you, bud?
I'm fantastic, man. Another day full of fun and adventure.
Fun and adventure. Those are two of my favorite things.
Bro, I am super excited to talk about our guests. Now, before I get to that,
Yes.
like, subscribe, follow us, hit us up. We've also started doing a lot of reaction videos to different things. Check those out. They're awesome. Feeds, follow us. It helps us kind of get more of what we're doing. And there's also links below to our businesses. Cameron doing insurance. I sell coffee. Keep up on that stuff.
Let's do it.
Anywho, this guy I've known for a very long time, and I'm super excited to introduce Kyle Wheeler. What's up, my man?
How's it going,
What's
man?
up,
I'm
Bubba?
glad to be on here, man.
Tell us, so for all of those who don't know you, tell us about you and your business and just about you.
So I work in insurance. That's my kind of primary 9 to 5. Work for farmers. So been dealing with the big changes in the insurance industry in the last few years. That's been a wild thing. Everybody kind of knows about that. And then also I'm a worship leader at a church here in Auburn. So I do that. That's my part-time. And then family man, 7 kids, wife, keep me running.
7. You had me at 7.
7.
7.
Yes.
7. For those who didn't hear that accurately, that is 7.
Yeah, we run.
7 children. All right, let's hear ultimate dad test. Give me names top to bottom.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we got Aurora, Caden, Scarlett, Violet, Elijah, Ronan, and Luna.
That's a stack.
16 at the top
Yeah, there you go.
age, and then the youngest she'll turn 2 on January 1st.
Bro,
My New
That's
Year's baby.
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, no,
you are
I'm-
blessed, brother.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
You are so blessed.
I'm happy with my 2. Like,
Yeah. And I feel wild with my 3. So I'm like, double it and then some.
my rule is strangle. I can strangle one, my wife can strangle one, and we're good.
Yeah.
Right? If you're
Yeah.
strangling one and your wife's strangling one, there's a
Yeah,
kick
you got to
going
get
on.
one with your foot. Like, get over
If
here.
you're strangling one and your wife's strangling one, there's a posse with hammers going, no, you didn't.
No,
Like,
Yeah.
it's-
we just
I
approach
saw what you did to my brother, and you're like, oh, God.
we do it like a battle royale.
Yeah,
just
you should.
throw everyone
Yeah.
in the room and
Yeah.
everybody's throwing
Yeah.
something, man.
As
Anybody
you
yell
should.
freedom when they...
Yeah, get your younger brother.
Yeah.
You take him.
Runs in with blue face paint.
That's right. It's wild. Yeah.
That's awesome,
That's
man.
incredible. So talk to me more about insurance, man. I know Cali insurance has been absolutely nuts. What's been some of the craziness you've had to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, so really we started noticing the changes coming down the pipe at about 2023. And people didn't realize that these changes, the storm started brewing back with COVID. But, every industry, when the whole COVID fallout happened, different industries got hit at different times,
Yeah.
And we didn't really feel the full wave of it hit the insurance industry until 2023. And it was a bunch of different things that were all happening at the same time. It wasn't just the fact that there was inflation, because there was, and that was a thing.
Oh, for sure.
But then, you got a little bit of bureaucracy in there as well. You get some politics and stuff.
Poly, many ticks, blood-sucking creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then obviously the fires. Everybody knows about the fires, but
fire season. It's frequent.
Yeah, and so that makes sense for houses. But then, why is everybody's car insurance going up?
It starts to get crazy.
Yeah, the craziest thing is that the statistics show a massive behavioral shift after COVID. So people all they get locked down.
Yeah.
They're stuck going stir crazy for a while. And then they come out of that, and all of a sudden, per capita, per people, the amount of accidents start happening at an increased rate. So there's more accidents. People are more reckless, more DUIs than ever before. People went into lockdown and they needed to sip the sauce to get through it. Yep. They got something.
They're like, look, I can't go to church, but I can get all you can drink. Done.
That's right. So people come out with some bad habits.
Yeah.
Well, then, you have funding for police in some areas start getting reduced.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we start having less guys on freeways doing speed traps. So now the average miles per hour on an accident increases by 7 miles an hour. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're talking about the difference between 65 miles an hour and 72 miles an hour, this is a big thing. More vehicles are being totally lost.
Yeah.
And the replacement cost for these vehicles is higher. And then you have the issue with the supply chain issue. Remember when all of our stuff was stuck on boats for a long time? What did that do to our used car market?
Yep. Supply and demand. Can't beat it.
I had my 4Runner that I got, my first car straight out of high school, and used it for almost 15 years. Put so many miles on that thing, just beat it up. I was able to sell it for $2,000 more than what I bought it for back in 2004.
Supply and demand, baby.
Yeah, it went crazy. So now you have these companies that are having to replace cars at a rate, a cost, a value, which is significantly higher than what they had been collecting premium for.
What's crazy about this, man, is hearing you talk about the stats behind it, because you see the numbers and it's kind of just heartless. You're like, oh, look, my number's going up. But when you start breaking it down into more accidents, more DUIs, more bad habits were learned, it's like, maybe we shouldn't be stuck with our thoughts in a room for very long.
It was not good for us.
Or too much GTA. Someone was like, this is how I really drive. You're like,
when I get back outside, the world better look out.
They are ready for me.
No.
So there was a lot of different factors that all kind of just came together at the same time. And the rates, the way that things work here in California is insurance companies can't just say, hey, we're not making enough money, let's just start charging more. We can't do that.
No.
We have to go through the government. So we have to submit to the Department of Insurance. We're not charging enough to make up for the amount of accidents that we're having.
Correct.
Can we increase the base rate? The base rate gets pushed out across all of California, and all of the companies have to adopt it within that year.
Wow.
Well, when you have somebody that's trying to get reelected,
they're like, that's going to make me look bad. And you're like, no, your face is what makes you look bad. This isn't helping.
So, I don't know. So there was a bit of, and maybe some people would say, hey, they were trying to stave off the increases because it was already a difficult time for everybody financially. That argument could be made as well. But ultimately, there should have been a slow and steady increase that we were seeing in line with inflation, but there wasn't. And then we hit 2023, and it was like, well, everyone's about to go bankrupt. So let's crank all of these years of increases into 1 year, and all the insurance companies had to change the way they were playing ball. Some of them, like State Farm, they were like, well, we can't write homes anymore.
We got to go.
We're done.
We're out.
We're out of California.
That's right. No, I mean, a bunch of them. So with farmers, it's kind of like, it has an element of a brokerage as well, where I write farmers' products primarily, but then if farmers can't take it, it doesn't qualify, maybe it's in too high of a fire line or something like that, I have the ability to write it with other companies.
That's awesome.
Before all of this happened, I mean, I had like two dozen different companies that I could have at my disposal
At
to
beck
work
and
with.
call.
Sure.
And then over the course of a year, we just watched them drop like flies.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And then, we used to be the agency that was like, we have the answer when nobody else has the answer. You don't know how to get your home insured? We got it.
Sure.
Then it became the fact that there was no answers.
Yeah.
And it was just the only remaining answer that you have left, California Fair Plan, which is a dirty word these days.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that word.
No, you do not.
It's who knows how to work that game the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had to change the way that we were doing things so many times, and we're still kind of adapting to the new market and the changes. And farmers, the way that they were able to stay and play and continue to write, they were realizing how much money was being lost on fraud. And insurance fraud, it's something that happens at multiple levels, and some people aren't really aware of how insurance can be frauded.
Sure.
So there's the common way that we can all think about. You smack your car or whatever, you don't do anything about that dent you put there, and then you get in an accident later,
And you go,
you
this
say,
dent.
that dent
Yeah.
is what that guy did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make
I
sense.
know it's on the opposite quarter
Yeah,
panel.
that's right.
But friction
okay.
caused the momentum
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
rotary girder.
You had to be
Yeah.
there.
The lineup
It was
rotary.
crazy. And also, nobody saw.
Yeah.
You can trust me.
The fact that you snuck rotary girder,
You're welcome.
a little Tommy
So-
Boy reference.
Everyone gets that.
Sure.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about the smaller ways? The smaller ways are like, especially in this community here in Yuba City, you have mixed family households.
Yeah.
In different communities where you'll have mom and dad who are taking care of grandma and grandpa
Yeah.
and son and daughter.
Yeah.
So you have a household of like 8 to 10 people.
Yep.
They all have cars. Mom and dad have perfect driving records. Maybe son and daughter had a couple of dings,
Sure.
DUI or something. Let's have mom and dad insure all
the-
8 to 10
all the
cars
cars.
and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
mention to the insurance company about the high risk son
no.
who's
Yeah.
had 3 tickets in the last year.
Yeah.
And then when he gets into an accident, we're going to have it covered anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the way that insurance companies are supposed to handle paying for that extra risk is rating him and saying,
Correct.
this guy costs more to insure because
Sure.
he
Yeah.
drives a little bit crazier than mom and dad.
Yeah.
So hiding drivers was a way that people were frauding the insurance system. The other one is like in California, you can't increase or decrease someone's rates in insurance based on their credit score. In other states, you can. But here, the way that they do it is your annual mileage. So if you report a higher or lower annual mileage, the national average is like 13,000.
Sure.
And then if you're doing more than that, you'll pay more on that car. If you're commuting,
Higher risk.
Sure.
More,
Sure.
road
More
time,
opportunity
more
to have an
opportunity to have an accident. Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest areas that we saw rampant fraud after COVID. Because when the COVID lockdowns happened,
I don't drive at all.
nobody was driving.
Give me 50 miles a year.
That's
I'll take
right.
that cheaper policy.
Whatever the bottom
Yeah.
bracket is,
Yeah.
that's that lowest thing.
I
And
work
every
remote.
insurance company at that time was trained, don't ask questions. It's hard for everyone right now.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Do them the favor.
So,
Don't
I
ask
mean, we 10,000 policies at our agency, all of the auto policies, everyone that called in and said, bottom out my miles. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me get that done. Boom, 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 boom. And then the world opens back up and people go back to their commutes.
Yeah.
And they're not going to tell their insurance company.
No.
Why would
by
they?
the way, I'm
They're
only
liking
traveling
insurance
40,000
figure out. Yeah.
miles.
They're liking those lower rates, right?
Yeah.
And so now the insurance companies in that area are not collecting enough premium for the increased risk there. That's fraud.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
it's a small fraud.
Yeah.
People don't
Yeah.
think of it as fraud.
A little white fraud.
That's right. That's right. But
Oh,
those
look,
those
little
little
white
white
fraud.
those little white frauds,
They add up
they were adding up to a massive
to a great white fraud.
the great white fraud.
The great
Yeah.
white fraud
You're
of
going to go into the
23.
insurance industry.
Yeah.
Sharks in the insurance industry. The big white fraud will get you.
So farmers said, hey, rather than shutting down our programs,
Yeah.
why don't we crack down on fraud? Because there's a huge percentage
Sure.
of our overhead that is actually basically designated to pay out for fraudulent stuff that should not be happening.
Yeah.
What you're looking at, like what, 5%?
Oh, dude, it was way worse than that.
Like 20%?
I mean, we were talking numbers of like 13 to 25%, man.
Of just this is the extra income we're making, and this is all allotted towards fraud, and we're just not going to get it back.
That's right. If we just tightened it down,
Yeah.
then our margins would be
Yeah.
incredibly different.
Yeah.
And so the way that they did that was super obnoxious to a customer that doesn't know what's happening.
Sure.
All of a sudden they're getting their renewals, and instead of just saying, hey, here's your rate on your next policy, now it's, if you want to renew, you need to fill out this form and give us all of the information for all of the drivers in your house, all of the vehicles, how are they being driven. And people have been on a set it and forget it mentality with their insurance for years.
Yeah.
You don't need me. I don't
Yeah.
need you. This is fine.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Nobody's
whatever.
opening up their mail. Nobody's looking
Yeah.
at it. So what do we start dealing with? Massive cancellations.
Got it.
Because if you don't fill out the renewal surveys,
You're getting dropped.
You get dropped. And then people calling us angry. Why
Why'd
did
you
you
drop
drop
me?
me? I've been a faithful customer for 5,
Man,
10
we
years
sent
or
you
whatever.
3 letters in the mail over the last 90 days,
That's
and you haven't
exactly
responded
right.
to any of them.
That's right. And so we ended up having to hire somebody at our agency whose job was just to chase those documents
Yeah.
and keep people
Yeah.
from canceling, calling people ahead of
Yeah.
time.
Retention.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
literally a retention specialist needed to be on nearly full time.
Wow.
Just to combat that.
That's wild.
And so there was a lot of frustration there. And then you deal with that on top of the fact that nobody's getting away from the base rate increasing.
No, not at all.
There's nothing you can do. We did all of that so that we could stay in the game, so that we could
Absolutely.
keep
Yeah.
writing, but not so that we could not charge more money.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, with the inflation, with everything, if you don't, I mean, it's kind of, we'll just go off of a couple thoughts that I have when it comes to profit margins. People don't realize restaurants' profit margins are 10%. Okay.
Sometimes less.
So yeah, it's from 7 to 10%. It just kind of depends, but that's a normal spot. So if you're looking at 12, or you said, what was it, 13% to set? It was like
the numbers varied depending on the areas because
Sure.
fraud can be more random. But
so. But even if it's anywhere from 10% to 17%,
yeah.
that is
the
a
difference between-
bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's a bankrupt restaurant
Right.
right away.
Yeah.
It's a bankrupt coffee shop. That's a bankrupt restaurant. That's a bankrupt everything. That most people live in that margin error.
Yeah.
So for a global company to be like, yo, we're just eating 25%.
Yeah, no,
17%.
It was nasty.
Just to kind of put that in perspective, no restaurant would be able to function. No one would be able
Yeah.
to. So it's fair to be like, no, we kind of had to.
The game had to be changed.
Yeah.
And people are also having, there's just a paradigm shift
Sure.
in how you have to insure. So this is one of the biggest misconceptions is everybody, everything's expensive in California, right? We always just assume that everything here is more expensive than everywhere else, and it always has been. But
Not true.
Strangely enough, in the realm of home insurance costs, historically, like before 2023, going back 10, 15 years, we had significantly cheaper home insurance than anywhere else. Why is that? You go over to Texas, you're dealing with,
monsoon and flood and
right?
hurricane.
And you go far enough north or far enough east, now you've got tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go over to Florida, you're dealing with monsoons, you're
Yep.
dealing with hurricanes.
Yep.
So you've got these different natural disasters which can define kind of each part of
area,
America,
regions.
which make the risk of insuring this home increase, and therefore we got to pay more money, whatever.
Yep.
Sure.
For a long time, we weren't dealing with fires
Yeah.
as our,
it's our thing.
Yeah, Arkansas
Yeah.
has their tornadoes. Now we have our fires.
Yep, correct.
But that wasn't the thing for a long time. So you could insure a home, a good family-sized home for less than $1,000 a year.
Yep.
And that same home during, the last 10, 15 years, if you had that same home over in Texas, you'd be paying $3,000 or $4,000 a year in insurance for it.
Gotcha.
So now our rates are starting to look more comparable to other places that have those iconic, reliable
natural
disasters.
disasters,
Sure.
And people just can't understand it.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
that have been there the whole life, they're like, I already pay too much for everything here in California, and now you guys are doing this to me as well.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
you're having to kind of
You
backlog.
were my friend.
You're having to educate them
Right.
on. You're playing catch up.
There's
this is
so
where you're
much
at. Yeah.
educational conversations that we've had to have.
Well, yeah. Even this though, man, just you talking about the pre to post COVID, like the idea of how much behavior's changed. You know, you do have a full generation that I mean Gen Z, isn't it?
Yeah.
That full generation's changed from it, and their outcomes are totally different. But you're looking at finances as well. You're looking at, okay, well, people were staying in more. They were drinking more. They picked up some bad habits. I mean, I had to burn off quite a bit of COVID weight. Just to be 100%
Still working on
honest.
mine.
I was just like, man, those Oreos are not going to eat themselves.
Nope.
But nothing is free. Even a break is not free.
Right.
And I think that's probably the lesson we have to learn from this whole thing is everything's going to catch up eventually. You can't just get away with it. And these little white, what were they?
Little white frauds.
Little white frauds.
This
Yeah,
is a little white frauds
fraud.
will build
Yeah.
up and make a great white fraud and bite you in the boat.
Well, yeah, you kind of had an emergent little white fraud culture that was happening during COVID because, you know, they had all that STEMI money.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of people that were abusing whatever government money they could get in that time because, you know, it was a tough, uncertain thing. There was a lot of money that was going out.
And how that trickled into, like, on my side, on the mortgage side, in 2018, well before COVID and even before the massive fires in NorCal really started to get as prominent as they were, we would, I mean, on a 30-day escrow, you wouldn't really start even thinking about insurance until the end of week 3. And then you'd go at probably $70, $80 a month to worry about it, get a policy same day, good to go. That has shifted. That has shifted so much. We are now, as soon as a client will send me a potential property, up in the hills,
Browns Valley,
Bangor, Magalia, anywhere that's just a little past Fruitland, like anything up 20, whatever.
Let's talk about the
I
insurance first.
I literally start with, you know what? You need to get an insurance quote because that's obviously going to trickle into your mortgage payment, and I don't want to quote and assume low. If anything, get a quote, but let's assume high side. Let's go kind of worst case scenario. And they're like, no way. I'm like, I'm thinking possibly. And here's risk. And then every once in a while you'll get really lucky and one will come in and there's a great fire line and distance from the brush. Or I had a friend that just closed escrow back on Wednesday up at Lake Almanor, and she got a quote and I reviewed it and I was like, why is this so cheap? Like I sent it in. They're like, it's good. And I did a quick little pull up. Her back neighbor is literally a fire station. I was like, this is so sick.
That's amazing.
Obviously, risk being low, but you go another quarter mile down the road in either direction, those policies are higher. But so a lot of it is hit and miss, but how that is translated to multiple industries, not just the insurance side, you're now having to be more cognizant of it, where once upon a time it was just like, we'll get a quote in a couple weeks. Don't worry about it. It's a non-issue.
It's suppressing home values in those higher file line areas as well.
Because affordability is not there.
You have to factor in $300 to $500 a month for insurance. Well, that
go,
home is not worth what it used to be. And people
no
are trying to get
willing.
out of the hills because they're getting priced out by insurance and getting forced to go get into a city house. But now that home is not nearly worth as much as they thought because people have to factor in how much they're going to pay for insurance.
Seeing it live. Seeing it live.
And the bright side is, I'll say, it's not all doom and gloom. We are seeing signs of market recovery. We just had another carrier come online at the beginning of this month. We've been trickling in about every 2 months or so, grabbing another carrier.
Are some of them coming back, or are these newer carriers, or are some of them coming back from the last 3-4 years where they had to dip?
So we have some carriers that are turning back on their programs. You know, earlier on this year, like Foremost was a company that a lot of people use for like rental properties and things like that. They had their stuff shut down for a while. They're booting back up. But then also like Farmers is re-examining with new like AI technology fire lines. They're starting to use better stuff because it's always such a shame when you're like, hey, I live in a high fire line, but my entire property is green and sprinklered around like 100 feet out.
And I don't have a tree.
No trees. I've done everything I can.
Yeah.
If the entire county burnt to the ground, my house is going to be standing.
Absolutely.
And my neighbor, his house is full of trees. He lives in a jungle.
Yeah.
And, you know, one bad cigarette and he's going up in flames.
What are you talking about?
That's right. And we get judged the same.
Yes.
That's not right.
Sure.
I get judged the same as everyone else in my zip code. What's going on there? We're starting to see, you know, common sense prevail where they're using technology.
They say send out the drones.
That's right. Or you know, satellite footage that says, okay, he's in this zone, but we can see the space that he is in is less susceptible. So we're starting to see areas up towards like Loma Rica. Up a little bit north of that and over to the right, past Fruitland Road. Farmers are starting to accept those areas. And this is within the last couple of months. We've had the opportunity to write a few. And so we're like, okay, now we got to get the information back out there. Because this area has been,
it's such a great little pocket.
There's several pockets that are like that where people are pretty much considering themselves uninsurable. And that's not necessarily the case. And it's going to, as we continue to grow in this area, I believe that is going to continue to be the case in more areas. So it's interesting. So we have areas like farmers that are saying, you know, we've been writing all along, but now we are going to be more intelligent about who we're accepting, and maybe we can accept some more middle line risks. Farmers doesn't take the high fire line risks. That's why we use our partners for the higher stuff. Basically, no one right now is taking high fire line. If you've got high fire line, if you're in the sticks, it's fair play.
It's Cal Fair.
That's it. But there are more companies that are starting to open up for that middle of the line. You know, just past where a standard company like Farmers would take, and not quite as bad as the high fire line stuff. So we're seeing signs. It's getting better. But boy, it's been a road. And anybody that's not like being able to have these conversations, you know, I feel bad for other people that are, you know, getting their insurance through like online companies or whatever. They don't have an agent. They don't have somebody that can talk them through. That's kind of our job, you know, as agents, to make sure that people are educated and they're getting the best product for them. The other paradigm shift that happened that people aren't recognizing unless they've got an agent to talk to them about this is the insurance companies want us to use our insurance differently than we have in the past. So it used to be the case a few years ago, storm comes through, or, you know, your kid messes up in trying to park the vehicle and knocks down your fence, a few boards off your fence, couple $1,000, $3,000-$4,000, whatever. I got $1,000 deductible on my home. I'll just turn in that claim. I'm still going to pay $1,000, but it's going to save me $3,000. Okay, no problem. That claim's going to go on my record for 3 years. I see a little bit of a premium increase, a few percent, but all in all, I'm going to profit out of this as long as I don't have another bad thing happen in 3 years.
Correct.
That was a perfectly acceptable mindset a few years ago. Now it is the case that these insurance companies, they will beat you up on that first claim. And if you have a second claim in that 3-year period, they're talking about getting rid of you.
They're like, bye.
And if you have a third one,
you are way too risky.
You're gone and you're uninsurable to anyone else. Nobody wants to look at you. And so,
but why are we fighting? Because
you also start calculating out your deductible, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to figure out a way to fix this myself.
That's right. And that's what they want people to do.
So you see the bumpers that are duct taped on them.
They want people to self-insure.
I sense a lot of judgment on my car.
Exactly. That was parked actually out front of the studio this week.
Right. I mean, go to Lowe's, buy yourself a few boards.
You got this.
Screw them up there. You can
YouTube University. Baby.
You can handle it. And they want people to be able to handle these smaller things. And so the way that they are promoting that is by weighting the policy premium discounts more towards larger deductibles, because you have your base rate, and then you have deductibles, and those deductibles are basically percentage or factor multipliers based on the base rate. And the government doesn't tell us how that math has to work.
Sure.
They just tell us what the base rate has to be.
Yeah.
So you can have some companies, like on the auto side of things, companies like Geico and Progressive. These are online companies. They are seeking people, massive numbers of people who are going to come in, insure themselves, and try to get the cheapest possible price.
Yeah.
What do people do for that? They get state minimum liability.
Yeah.
Right? They get the absolute minimum, and they say, "Oh, I'm only paying $40 a month."
Yeah.
Great. And it's insurance that's basically good to keep you legal.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It'll get you past the cops, but it won't get you past an accident.
Yeah.
Yep. And so Geico, Progressive companies like that, they're going to weight the discount to favor low deductibles, low liability.
That makes sense.
Or sorry, high deductibles, low liability.
Yeah.
And other companies that are saying, we want to try and attract drivers that are lower risk, people that kind of got their stuff together.
Sure.
Right. So we're gonna give more discounts to people in their middling years with good driving and that carry higher liability because that's a sign of someone who has assets to protect.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we're gonna weight things there. So that's a way that you can kind of behaviorally shift who you're after, who you're trying to grab.
Gotcha.
So it is the case that industry-wide now, this behavioral thing is happening on home insurance at the deductible level. They are now all weighting their deductibles to be sensible, to make sense at like $2,500 to $5,000 starting.
Wow.
So whereas $10K was the common deductible, $1,000 was the common deductible just a few years ago.
Sure.
Yep.
Now the common one is $2,500, and if you have a $1,000 deductible, that's low. That's too low. You're paying a bunch of extra money for that.
Yeah.
But now it's also become common for $5K. Homeowners, regular homeowners, to have $5,000. So they're saying anything that happens to you that's up to $5,000, maybe $8,000,
figure it out.
Fix it yourself.
Yeah, figure it out.
Save
Don't
your
call me.
insurance. That's right.
Yeah.
Save your
Call a
insurance for the
handyman.
catastrophic stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Put a little bit of money in the bank and call us when it gets real bad. And so on the other side of things, that's the biggest one. The proponent of that is California Fair Plan.
Yeah.
Because these guys it's fire basically only. They do wind and vandalism, but basically fire. Okay. And they really, really beat you up if you carry low deductibles.
Yeah.
But you really don't want to.
Sure.
People don't realize that if they carry a low deductible, they're tricking themselves into using their insurance in a way that it's not designed for.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is going to hurt them in the long run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they don't have somebody to kind of walk them through this math, this 3-year math,
Sure.
then they're getting themselves into some really tricky situations.
I mean, why deal with it now when you can pay for it later? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
that doesn't always work out if you end up having a couple of things happen to
But that's been the American mindset. I mean,
That's
look
right.
at our credit card debt. Look at inflation with that.
Push it down the road.
Look at education. I mean, right now, 20% of kids graduating can't read or write. That's the average, right? And so why would we need to teach them now? They can do it later. And the problem is later is going to come and bite us in the ass. And we're not ready for it.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I really am enjoying hearing you go, yeah, here's why things are happening. But it also encourages my heart to be like, common sense is coming back. Because there was a series of time where I was like, why? What? What's happening? And then here you go, it's like, oh, okay, that all makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is it should have been when it was all going down with the insurance stuff, it should have been being talked about.
Correct.
They should have been on nightly news.
Sure.
Yeah.
People should have been educated at a national level about what was going on, because it wasn't just California that was getting hit by
Oh,
this.
no, everyone was.
I mean, we obviously we're the tip of the spear, so we were feeling it more succinctly than a lot of other places. But it was something that was not talked about, and it was because there was that layer of bureaucracy as well. There was that layer, of somebody didn't really want to talk about it because it was maybe somebody made some mistakes.
Paulie many split-second creatures, lean into it, man. Because the more it involves, I'm willing to sacrifice for you so that I can look good. That is somebody that I wouldn't even respect as a leader. Because to me, leadership is leading by example. And if you're willing to throw other people underneath you to take the brunt of it, because you're not willing to take the fire, that's not really a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, any business owner understands that you are assuming the risk. The extra money that comes in is there for a season because you may have to pay for a fire. You may have to pay for an employee quitting and training a new employee. And so the risk to reward is part of the common sense factor. that I think is being lost in the conversation.
Sure.
And so when I hear you going, yeah, hey, there's a risk here, and if you don't use us, the reward is your premium doesn't go up.
Right.
And if you do it for 3 years, is that premium worth it?
Yeah.
Well, I went to Best Buy and I could get this credit card for 35% interest rate, and I could buy this TV and I will pay 10 times this TV back.
With interest. I think it's education. I mean, it's education. When you have the opportunity to work with somebody like yourself as a buyer, as a consumer, you are now able to navigate that road with them, and then you're gonna. I mean, gosh, even if somebody's paying a little bit more up front, over the long run, there is so much more savings in paying the price up front, like you said, to be educated. So you know exactly what's coming. And it plays into almost every industry. When you have the opportunity to have a conversation, explain, have some dialogue, look at some worst case scenarios, look at some best case scenarios, find the magic in the middle, that's going to pay off dividends.
I mean, understanding how it works, like when a claim goes down, is so important as well. Because like for California Fair Plan, one of the things that was causing us to be really ahead of the game, and I'm going to be giving some trade secrets here, which is not necessarily the best idea, but
it's all right. Hey, I won't tell anybody. I'm not getting into insurance anytime soon.
Understanding how a company will pay out a claim is so important, because when we're talking about deductibles, California Fair Plan, fire insurance, right?
Yeah.
Do not use it for a grease fire. Don't use it for a little oven kitchen fire.
Sure.
You're going to keep this thing in your pocket for when the place burns to the ground.
Absolutely.
And so what happens when the place burns to the ground? Does California Fair Plan call you and say, hey, your place is burned to the ground. You have a $10,000 deductible. As soon as you give that money to us, we'll start working on your house. No, it doesn't. But that's what people think happens. I have to come up with $10K if my house burns to the ground. So already my life has been destroyed and I've got to somehow come up with $10K. No, you don't. They will end up paying the value on the house that we have set, and they will subtract the deductible from the check that they cut you.
Totally makes sense.
From replacement cost.
So if I can do my job to make sure that the value of the house is as good as it needs to be, plus maybe a little bit extra, and then stick a $20,000 deductible on there, which is making your premiums massively decrease. Then when it goes up in flames, and they take that $20K out of the big check they sent you, but that remaining amount is still enough to put your house back together. All of a sudden, you saved money for years. And the difference we're talking about was, people coming from other agencies saying, hey, I got this fair plan. And I say, that's basically all you can have. And I say, well, then you can't do anything better for me. Oh, well, let me take a look. Let me see. Realizing their other guy got them a fair plan that's costing $6,000 to $8,000 a year because it's still got $1,000 deductible on it. Ancient ways. This is not the way it works. And they're stacking it up with all the bells and whistles. I need to have this much extra personal property. I need to have this, and they build this thing out like it's a regular policy. But it's not. You need to think about these things like, if my life burns to the ground, what do I need to start over to put my life back together? Have a house, have my picket fence, and fill it with stuff. If you do that, and you cut the corners and the extra fluff off and think about the fact that you're only going to use that policy when it really goes wrong, you can shave that $6,000 to $8,000 policy down to $2,000 to $3,000 policy.
Wow, that's incredible.
So it's a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And because people weren't really paying attention, or for a lot of times, a lot of even places that had agents were drowning in the change in the industry. So they were just trying to keep their head above water. There was even a period of time where we, over at the Daniel Gaines agency, we were just trying to keep our head above water and figure out what was happening and try to roll with the punches. Luckily, when I came in 6 years ago, we were already starting to work on building out a high fire line like specialty there before things went crazy. So probably about 2017 was when Dan really realized that we got to have an answer for this.
Absolutely.
And so we were a little bit ahead of the game. And now you're starting to see more people that are recognizing this, but ultimately how you write the insurance, how you use the insurance, and how you think about the insurance, it has to be done more intelligently than it used to be.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, and that just goes to your strength, man. That just goes to your strength. You want to help people. You want to take care of people. You have a family.
Yeah, that's why I got into this.
Absolutely. So for you, there's more to it than just numbers, but those numbers do help everybody out.
They translate to actual net savings.
Yeah. I've sold a lot of stuff in my life. I've done cars. I've done retail when I was younger. I've done durable medical equipment. I've done services, and every other thing that I was ever in sales. You can use your ability to speak to people, but they all ended up, whether I meant to or not, they started to slant in a direction of, how do you say it? Yeah. You have to get what you're going to get from somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're trying to put it into your pocket and take it out of theirs.
Absolutely.
The reason why I got into insurance was because when I started looking at it, I realized this is truly a place where I am motivated to provide the best possible service and the best possible price.
Yeah.
For them.
I don't actually profit by trying to gouge a couple of extra dollars out of somebody in the long run.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to try to push me to do that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually make sense at the bottom line. And so that's why it was something that was really in alignment with me.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, there were days when I was younger selling cars at the auto mall, waking up in the morning, my suit and tie, looking at myself in the mirror going, I hate you.
What have you done with yourself?
You're about to go and be a monster for the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
Now get out there and make some money.
Now get out there. Smack your own butt. Oh,
okay. Here we go.
Thanks, Coach.
So I wasn't cut out for that.
Sure.
I guess I don't have the teeth of a shark or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of your character. I mean, you do worship, you do stuff. So tell us a little more about that. I mean, we can stay in the insurance lane, which is amazing, but your family. Tell us about that, man. Tell us about what you do with your family to kind of run away from the numbers. Because I know for me personally, I get home and I'm finished coffee and paperwork and everything, and I'm like, hey guys, you want to go to the park? Hey, you want to go do something? Hey, you want to?
Right. So having a big family, 2 jobs, it is. I mean, I'll say we've been blessed to have a really good rhythm. God has really helped us create a good rhythm in our family at home, but then also, the way that things worked out with the worship job over at Confluence, it really just fit in so well with what we had.
Yeah.
And we've had to become kind of a finely oiled machine.
Yeah.
But it's really come to a spot where it's comfortable. It's chaotic, it's crazy, but in the best possible way.
It's my chaos, so it's all right.
Yeah, and
well said.
And you guys know, I could not do what I do without my wife.
Sure.
Right?
Amen.
Our ladies, they make it happen.
Heroes.
It's
Absolutely.
it's the biggest factor for how we're able to do, how I'm able to do.
Sure.
Is Taylor. I mean, she's always been so supportive and encouraging, and she believes in me, so she pushes me forward, and she's very driven herself. She's taking care of wrangling those 7 kids, but not just
Wrangling
that.
is the correct term.
Yeah.
She's about to finish up on her master's in psychology. She's been working on that.
That's crazy,
for much of our marriage, and I'll wake up. It doesn't really matter how early I wake up in the morning. I'll get up before the sun is up, and I'll come downstairs, and she'll be in the office working on, schooling stuff while the babies are still asleep.
Yep.
So it's not just you get this mentality. Oh, Kyle's out there going,
sure,
and housewife. Taylor's. She's making it happen for us, and luckily, I mean, we're paired very, very evenly by the things that we specialize in. We're very different from each other, and that makes us fit very well.
Absolutely.
She's my organizational brain. I'm Mr. ADHD, Mr. Hyper Focus,
creative.
I got a dream, and she
one day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
she's the one that runs my calendar brain for me.
That.
And she's the one that's always making sure to make time like individually for all of our kids.
Sure.
So that they all feel like they have their moments, whether it's
important,
whether it's a special birthday or just say, hey, I haven't spent any one-on-one time with Violet lately, or she'll even schedule with me and she'll say, hey, you haven't gone with this kid for a little while and done something special, so I bought you some tickets to this movie.
That's
this
so
is
cool.
what you're doing this weekend. I got this time blocked out for you. I'll take care of the rest.
You're all done.
And yeah, I mean, look, I love spending time with my kids. I absolutely love hanging out with them, going places with them. I love the adventure. I'm all about that. But my mentality, I can get so tunnel visioned that I would forget to provide care in that way for them, if not for her. My outside social life is not what it was when I was 20.
Sure.
Because my life is full.
Yeah.
We have a big family, and we have a big extended family that's all very tight as well. And so we've always got birthdays or celebrations, family events going on whatever day that we have off, we're going together. And then, at the house, Taylor and I have different interests in some ways. We come together if it's like Netflix night, whatever, watching shows together, but like,
that's how you had 7 babies. All right, you had to sneak Netflix. There you go. All right, here we go.
Little too much chill, not enough Netflix.
A little too much chill, not enough Netflix.
Do you know what happened that last episode? No, me neither.
No, I always forget the finales.
Good show though.
Yeah, great show. Great show.
My
really
favorite.
working out. My favorite.
No, but like, so I'm the big nerd in the relationship.
What?
Yeah. So she makes sure that there's time for me to decompress.
Sure.
I generally keep my stuff pretty close by. Like I have my rules for gaming and stuff. I don't touch any game that cannot be paused.
Good man.
Because
Good man.
my life may be on fire at any given moment
like,
from my 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to stop it. So like when I was younger, I'd get into these other games where you had games that were like responsibilities. These online massive multiplayer
I got a family.
games.
I don't need more responsibility.
Yeah, and I just can't do it.
Nope.
It's impossible. So coming to a recognition of that and getting into a good rhythm of that, where I can take my bite-sized pieces of being a nerd, but never like checking out of being a dad.
Yeah.
That was the answer for me, and it feels good. I don't need a game for a ton of time. It's a little bit here and there.
Live in the world for 5-10 minutes. I like an hour. That way I can actually achieve something.
Yeah.
Then I'm out and I can go, okay, cool. Live my life.
Taylor can take that time to watch whatever thing about serial killers that she's looking at.
Is that the thing?
She's one of those.
Yeah.
She's into
Every
psychology.
48 hours or whatever it is.
That actually makes sense. I'm the opposite. I can watch like serial killers kill each other all day, and I'm like, ooh, cannibalism? Ooh, new episode, right?
Yeah.
My wife is like, ooh, look, they're talking and it's drama and they're getting along, and I like that. And I'm all, no. They need to be trying to kill each other.
To everything with Taylor, it's all about like the thought process behind stuff.
Sure.
Dark psychology, really understanding.
She's not
stuff.
taking any like really like personal notes down. Or there's
No,
nothing.
if I disappear someday and you never
you don't
find
walk
me,
in and she's like, oh hey babe, hey,
Yeah.
You're like, well, it's good to see you. She's like, yeah, and she flips.
No,
back
no.
to the notes.
If I go too far, if I make her too mad, no one will ever find me.
Okay, got it.
She's got this
She's
down.
not
I
like
love it.
Amazon, like a massive drop freezer or
You haven't
anything
found
weird.
a
Okay.
composition notebook that says dealing with Kyle, and then you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
it's
even
time.
What was that book the other day? Oh, no, there was no book. What are you talking about?
Even if she had that, I would never find it.
Yeah.
I'm just, I would
Nor
never
would we
find
find
Oh, that's
Kyle.
amazing.
But I keep, there could be signs. I keep my eyes out. I let her get chickens, but we're not getting pigs.
No, there you go. Proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
So yeah, as far as what we do to decompress, we just spend a lot of time together as a family. My wife is truly like my best friend.
I love that.
We enjoy our time together, and so I don't ever feel like I'm missing out on something when I spend a few hours to hang out with my wife.
No.
We have a blast.
You got everything you need, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's so amazing. It's like being, anybody that's watching this, if you don't have a wife or you're not in a relationship and you don't have that other person, I think it's difficult to understand when it's like I come home and we can say 5 words to each other and we already said more than we needed to say. There's enough of care, there's enough of love there that's just naturally there. And if you're not experiencing that, in the relationship you are in,
Yeah.
you should be reevaluating that relationship because you're allowing something to rob you from the best years and best time of your life. And that's something that needs to be focused on. And so I always find it really funny because you have people on the spectrum that go, well, I was in a relationship. It was the worst. I'll never get in a relationship again. And you have other people on the spectrum going, why would I ever be in a relationship? I could marry somebody that's going to be total psycho. It's like, but when it works, it's so flipping good. Life is incredible. And the things you can do, you never would have been able to do without that other person.
And sometimes it makes this a little harder to relate to. To some, like you realize you eventually get married, you start having some kids, and your buddies that are either not married or buddies that don't have kids, they'll come over and like the house is madness, but it's your madness, and then you just look at them like, you okay? They're like, and like one kid runs by naked, and there's like a fire starting in the living room, and it's like,
and then your buddy that's never had any kids tries to give you advice. If I ever had kids, I would not let them do that. Is that so?
Is that right?
Is that so?
Is that right, Dr.
You go ahead and get a few, and you tell me how you would do it.
You're like no running with scissors. See, I did parenting. You're welcome.
Good job, buddy. You started the fire all on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me show you how to put it out.
Exactly. Like, get over here. Come fan this thing. Like, it was like, what's happening?
That's
magic.
It's so important, like to find that one,
Absolutely.
that right one.
Yes.
So many people, they're so rushed on the other side of things. You have these people that are jaded that are like, relationships are going to just cause me a bunch of problems.
Sure.
Then you have the other people, the younger ones a lot, that are like, I just got to get in a relationship. I gotta have it,
Yep.
And they don't take.
I know I'm 12, but God said you're for me.
Right?
Like,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, right.
No.
Has God told you yet that we're going to be married?
Yeah. No. By the way, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That's right. Ring by spring and all that kind of stuff. It is so important, like, to find that one. Because when you do, the capacity of what you're capable of, like just coming from a man-centered, masculine-centered thing, the capacity of what we are capable as men is amplified, multiplied by such an incredible degree when you've got the right woman.
Absolutely.
When you're working it with your best friend.
Oh man.
And you guys are about life and you're about each other, and you can champion each other's strengths and defend each other's weaknesses. Man, it's unlike anything else in the world.
There is no greater a decision
for sure.
than finding your partner.
I had this, so we were doing all these different interviews for the worship leading stuff, and I had a lot of different questions that you have to field. You get into these situations and they'll ask you one of these gotcha questions or whatever. And I had to answer one of these on the fly, and it left everybody kind of looking around like, oh. And so I had to explain it. The question they asked me was, who, besides God, besides Jesus, who in your life has been the most influential to becoming who you are? And I sat and I thought about it. I took a couple of seconds because I really wanted that to be a true answer.
Sure.
And the answer that felt true down to the bottom of my soul was a little bit cheesy to say, but I was like, it's my wife.
Yeah.
And they were like, huh? And they were expecting I was going to say some worship leader, Brandon Lake or somebody like that I really look up to. And I was like, no, you got to understand. The trajectory of my life changed more dramatically the moment I met my wife than any other event in my entire life. Everything changed. And that change was not a temporary thing. It wasn't just you fell in love and now you've got the butterflies and so you're acting a bit different for a season. No, like the course of my life was altered.
Yes.
And that has continued to be the case because she continues to support me and love me and believe in me.
And challenge you. And challenge you to be a better man and a father and work. Yeah. It changes the trajectory.
That's
changes the pitch of the wing, if you will.
And so after I explained it, they were like, oh, okay. One of the guys was like, I wouldn't have said that, but now that you've explained it, I think that that's true for me as well.
They all break session. They're like, hey, babe, I love you.
You're the best.
I just want to say I was inspired today.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, I can get cheesy about it.
Sure, that's awesome.
But
man.
it's just.
No, you're keeping it real.
It is. It is keeping it real. And I hope that everybody out there, they go looking for that, and they don't settle for something that isn't that.
Yeah.
Because if you just try to fill your life because you think you need something in this slot,
Sure.
To try and have all your ducks in a row or whatever, and you're not taking the care and the patience that it takes to make sure that you have this person in your life that you're going to fit them too.
Yes, absolutely.
Because ultimately, like marriage it's about serving.
Yes.
I'm not in this marriage to be served by Taylor. I'm here to serve her.
Correct.
And we are like competitive servants with each other. And at times, it's that
We'll push each other over. I serve better than you.
yeah.
You both walking together to bring the other person like breakfast. You're like, no.
Well, and there's the other thing. Some people, they get this idea that it's like in a relationship, I'm going to give half, she's going to give half, and that's going to make the whole. And the reality is, like that's not really the way that it works.
Sure.
I mean, if we're being honest here, we don't always bring our 100% to the table,
No,
right?
that's very true.
Not at all.
We have a bad day,
Yeah.
And what happens is a lot of times your wife steps in and says, "Oh, I got to give my extra now.
Yeah.
I got to do more."
Yeah.
Or and then so there's other days where you come home and she's just beat to death by the kids, duct taped to a chair, and the house is on fire, and they're running around like little
And
lost
she's
boys.
like, we watched some serial killers, and I know you told me not to,
Right.
but I felt like they were old enough.
I know what it looks like in here, but I've cleaned the house top to bottom 4 times since you left for work
seriously?
this morning.
Yeah. All they do is make messes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then you got to say, okay, well, my day's been long, my day's been hard, but
Sure.
I have to give them more in this moment. So it's very rare when you're ever at a spot where the amount of give is perfectly balanced. The scale is. Most days it's like this. Some days it's really your partner is dragging you through the mud, trying to just get you along there. But understanding that kind of push and pull, that give and that take, that rhythm took us a little while to get comfortable with that.
Sure.
But man, once we hit that rhythm, I just feel like we can do anything together.
I think defining what giving and taking is, because if it's finances, that's what everybody looks at. It's like that's not the point. If money is your master and that's what you find value in everything, I'm sorry for your life.
Yeah.
Because it is just in excess of who you are.
Yeah.
If you are a good person, money will naturally come to you because naturally you're keeping honor to your word, you're keeping integrity, you're walking through, you're following through with what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Same thing with your marriage. If you're following through with these things and you're giving your best and they're giving their best, it doesn't matter. And so what I always find is people will automatically go, well, they're not giving the same amount. Well, what do you mean they're not giving the same amount? Are you saying monetary? Then this is just an arranged
Business
marriage.
transaction.
This is just business transaction or an arranged marriage, so that way people can make money.
Right.
Yeah.
But where does the kid benefit in that? There's no love in money.
Right.
And the kid goes,
Right.
I have a bunch of stuff, and you create spoiled, rotten brats. The idea of seeing sacrifice, when my kids get to see me come home and I see my wife having a hard day, and I go, no, I'll clean. I got you.
Yeah.
What do you need? Taking that step, then my kids go, Dad, give me a broom. I want to help. Hey, Dad, I'll clean this up.
Yeah.
And then we clean the house together.
Right.
While my wife's taking a bath, she comes out, she goes, you guys clean the house?
Right.
Those moments, it was what we were getting to serve, but there was no expectation of this is more valuable because of X, Y, and Z.
Well, that has a value in and of itself, and I think that it's something that our generation is doing. We mess up on a lot of stuff, our generation, us millennials, because there's a lot of things that we do worse.
Don't
We do
say
suck.
the M word.
Right.
It's us.
Millennials, is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
But
Take it.
there's a couple of things that I think that we are a bit more aware of, probably because we grew up watching movies in the 90s where the dads were always vilified for working too much.
Yep.
Being on their
Come home
giant,
with the briefcase,
oh,
like,
my
yeah, I'll
Corfo."
get to it. Okay, Dad. Yeah, that was a.
Can we play catch? Sorry, Billy. Call just came in. You're like, poor Billy.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was what we were raised on, so we know to
and
counter
we saw that
that.
over and over and over again, and so we're like, we're not going to be those types of fathers.
Absolutely.
And so, there's always the opportunity lingering to be able to spend more of your time working more, making more money. And, and there's always the temptation that says, so many of my life's problems are solvable by money. Let's not pretend that money doesn't solve a lot. But you have to understand the value of what it is, what other problems you would be creating if your family never saw you.
Yeah. Especially down the line.
Yeah. What is that cost? And that, that legacy is so important. When Taylor and I got together, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Sure. She took a huge chance on me. I had to switch careers, and money ran away from churches in COVID.
What?
I mean, money scattered. I grew up in the 90s where, worship leaders were being full-time worship leaders and taking care of their entire family.
Yep.
There was enough money circulating in churches that it was a career path.
Sure.
I started into that stuff when I was 14, 15 years old, really feeling called into that. And I thought that there was going to be a steady career path for me. And, for the earliest parts of my life, there was, money that would suggest that.
Sure.
But then, after 2008, that was the first time that money scattered like cockroaches with the lights turned on from churches. Just, whoosh, and the first place that it goes from is the music programs.
Absolutely.
Sadly enough.
They're like, no, we don't need that.
Yeah. Do the best with what you got. God sees your heart. Sing better.
God sees your heart, but
Yeah.
sing better. Yes, this is purely volunteer, but
well, and then there comes this paradigm shift where people start saying, it became common, and I heard this spoken several times, where people were like, well, isn't that just your service, your gift to God? Why are you asking for money for that? And it's like, oh, okay, so I need to spend 30 to 40 hours of my week doing this with excellence, because that's what you're requiring. That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this for the Lord, and the Lord doesn't care whether or not my children are fed.
Ooh, yeah. No, there you go. Hit it on the head on
because that. Because I sort of want my children to be tucked into bed at night.
No, definitely.
I'm not trying to get rich.
No, for sure.
I really don't. I'm not that guy. But at a certain point, like, my time has value.
Absolutely does.
And now you equate that with what we were talking about a second ago about your excess time that you could be given to the kids. So that's the other thing. Okay, now I got to go make a secular job, work, to pay the bills, and then every hour of extra time that I'm going to put into a ministry or whatever is an hour that I'm taking away from my family. Yeah. And there is some amount of it. I'm not saying that, God doesn't call you to sacrifice and give, and that our gifts should not be used. Absolutely. And to, I was over at Hope Point for how many years? I didn't collect anything from that because I felt like that was something that God just wanted me to give. It was a skill set that I had, and I loved working with everybody there. But at a certain point, you have to try and build a future.
Yes.
I got to a spot where I was like, well, I'm technically surviving, but I'm not able to build anything for retirement or for future.
Yeah.
I'm scraping to stay in the black. And so it comes to a spot where it's like, okay, now I have to be in this strange situation again where I ask to be paid.
Sure.
That's a tough thing in churches, and the whole church scenario is wildly different. Getting a job in a church is wildly different than a secular job.
Because it's all based off of the idea of servant-hearted, right? Yeah. And we talked about that, serving your wife, and then the monetary, and then pivoting into the church. I think it's actually very valid to bring that up, because I've married my wife, I've made a vow to God, this is what I'm going to do, and now I'm being held accountable physically, spiritually, and emotionally with whatever I do. When I am serving at a church, I'm being held responsible physically, maybe spiritually, emotionally. You better keep that in check, right? And so I look at it as any job. If I'm volunteering, maybe a couple hours, maybe 4 hours, that's fine. I look at it as if a buddy goes, hey, man, can you help me move? Yeah, I can help you move. Yeah, come on. Cool. I'm going over there 3-4 hours, whatever. We're helping to move. Sure. But it's, hey, man, I need you to help me move every house that I own. And
I'm going to need you every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 to 3.
So now it's, well, you're going to pay me gas money? Well, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, we're
what
buddies,
you do
right?
to the least of these, you do to me.
Right.
And I look at that very much in the sense that, no, when you're hitting the point where it's 12 hours of service, that's a part-time job.
Yeah.
40 hours, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And if you're asking me to put full-time job, you're going to pay full-time wage.
Yeah. And if you don't, you're robbing my children.
You're robbing my children.
Yeah.
Of me.
And no one's gonna take that seriously, because if your time is free, then naturally they're going to assume you're kind of cheap to keep around.
Right.
You have to have boundaries, and it's very hard. It's very hard in the church. All of us grew up in it. It's very hard in the church to say no.
Yeah.
Especially if you're asked
Absolutely.
directly by either a senior pastor or somebody on staff. Because if you begin to utter anything that begins with an N and ends with an O, it's like, oh,
How
wow.
quickly
you need to check yourself.
How quickly
I'm
you
praying
become
for you.
unreliable
Yeah,
in
yeah,
their
yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I can't get everything I need out of you. Well, I guess I'll put you in this other box.
Easy
then.
to be taken advantage of.
Yeah. And since we were kids growing up in church, the church climate has changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, with the not advent, but the big explosion into the mega church world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. We watched that really happening in a big commercial way in the early 2000s, 2010s. We started to see this big shift where smaller churches were getting smaller.
Yep.
And
the bigger
lots and
churches
lots
were
of people, the
sucking
bigger
them in.
churches were getting bigger. And now they start, using money like production dollars, like Hollywood style stuff. And I got involved in a little bit of that stuff when I was younger. And because I thought, coming from a small town worship leader, I thought that was just like the way that church leveled up.
Yeah.
Bigger is
You're
better.
like, they're doing it.
If they don't have cold sparks with every strum, I'm out.
That's right. More people, more Jesus, man.
More lights,
it's better.
more Holy Spirit.
Pyrotechnics, now worship can start.
Right?
Exactly.
Usher in the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sunday.
All I just saw was like Triple H walking through and just like,
Yeah.
Guys, I need more spirit fog.
Exactly.
More spirit fog.
More spirit fog.
Turn up the Holy Spirit. And so I feel like, personally, like, praise God, I feel like I was delivered out of some of that stuff.
No, for
I
sure,
saw
man. Yeah, it's
the
awesome.
kind of the way that it was going and got myself involved in some stuff that I really didn't have any intention to in the beginning.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I started to have my eyes open and realize, whoa, we are elevating the product and the process and the people above God.
Correct.
And
and it lost all authenticity.
yeah, and boy, we're making great stuff. We're making great stuff. It's really cool. We could sell this stuff, at a store, sure. But what's the cost?
Yeah.
Because what's happening here,
Sure.
People are not authentically walking a lifestyle where they're daily like picking up their cross and carrying it. They're not reading their word. They created this like encounter culture where everyone is thirsty for that next big event, that next concert, that next worship night, where they can go there, they can soak up the amazing worship band, they can feel like they're called and accepted and loved and seen by God, and they can cry out all their problems and go, wow, what an incredible experience. And then they leave there and they go back to their mundane life and they say, well, I don't feel God in that, but I did feel God there, so I'll just keep living my life and I'll do the best I can to get back to that place as soon as possible so I can feel called and
recharge and
right.
Didn't you just describe a drug?
That's exactly right.
Because when you're having to go back to the same source because you're not able to get it in regular
That's
life.
right.
That's how people cheat on their wife.
Yep.
I'm not getting the emotional needs I have, but this person's listening to me. That's how any type of abuse starts. It starts with, you're not giving me the needs I need.
Yeah.
That's right. And so sadly, a lot of these larger production mentality places have essentially been farming dopamine off of people. And I'll tell you, there's nothing that makes a good counterfeit Holy Spirit quite like dopamine.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that it's a dangerous thing.
It's very much dangerous.
And it creates this idea that people think that they're getting something that's authentic and real because it's something that they're not getting from any other area of their life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Heroin's the same way. You put heroin in you and it's like, well, there's nothing else in my life that feels
that's
that good.
Quite like it.
Well, I'll let
it's
you know.
special.
Yep.
I'll let you know. I'm doing heroin later, and then I'll let you know if it balances with the Holy
You
Spirit.
can come back
Man,
and do a second podcast.
I was gonna do a video and be like, "So heroin, guys,
Exactly.
so like God, it's crazy."
My new Holy
Kyle
Spirit.
was lying, okay? So, I mean, yeah.
Kyle was right.
You create this situation where people are like, because it's so different from everything else in my life, that must mean that it's God. It's divine.
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually, the fact is your life is mundane, and there's nothing you're doing in your ordinary life which is dropping dopamine, and music is incredibly powerful.
Correct.
And you put yourself in a situation where somebody is actively utilizing intelligently all of the laws of science and physics and sound to get you to, I mean, the formula.
And to isolate you off so you feel, so the lights are dim, there go the lights go, and then the music ramps up, and then it comes down, and then you feel an elation because the dopamine hit, and then we go, that's God.
Yeah, do you ever wonder why all the worship songs sound the same?
Yes.
Why they repeat, why the drums do the same builds every time? Because it's a formula, and it works.
Yep.
And you can't stop it from working.
Well, I mean, it's like if you play Beatles backwards, it says serve Satan. If you play worship music backwards, it says serve Jesus. So I think we're fine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Awesome. So, and that's all of that's not to say that I think that the baby should be thrown out with the bathwater, and that there's no reason that we should be trying to, pursue excellence in this stuff. I did swing back kind of hard on the other end of the pendulum, where for a while I was like, oh, well, if I'm not seeing anything authentic in big churches, maybe Jesus is only showing up in the tiny churches where all you're hearing is Sister Ethel, squawk her head off in the back.
With an organ.
Yeah.
That hasn't been maintenance in 50 years.
Right. And that's not really where it's at either. That has its own set of problems. No. And so I kind of walk the road in between, having seen both sides of it, where if we can do this, if we can give God our best, if we can show up practiced and prepared, if we can use these natural elements which God has made, right? God, the elements of like proper lighting and sound,
absolutely,
all of that stuff is a platform that was built, a foundation that was built by God. You don't want to become a hindrance for people when you're up on stage.
No.
If you got an absolute terrible voice and you're up there and you're singing off pitch, that guy that came into church that day to legitimately connect with God and is trying to like offer up worship to God, but you sound like a coyote in a trash compactor, and he can't get over that. So there's an element of it. It's like as a worship leader, we are supposed to like lead, but get out of the way.
I agree.
Well said.
I agree.
Well said.
I think that comes down to the heart of the individual. And I think that's why the story of David becomes so prevalent with a lot of musicians. Mm-hmm. But people don't realize that he was denounced by his family and could even potentially be king. Yeah. He was playing music by himself and having one-on-one relationship with God. It was not about the building or being king. He didn't even want that stuff. Right. He just wanted a genuine relationship with God. Yeah. And it's like I said, from the excess, when you're a good man, good character, if your soul is aligned with God's heart and your spirit, and everything is aligned in the principles of God, and you're walking through, everything will flock to you that's necessary for your life. And if it's finances, if it's music, whatever it is, because people don't want to talk to somebody who's fake.
Yeah. Right.
People don't want to debate. That's why people hate debating doctrine. That's why people, because it's fake. Nobody cares about that stuff. Right. Homeless person doesn't care. They care about who are you willing to give time? Are you willing to take care of them in the moment?
Are you a good person?
If somebody's heartbroken, you're like, well, let's bring up this philosophical. They're going to go, I don't care. Yeah. They care about the compassion you bring in the moment. Yeah. And I think that same approach needs to be brought into worship, which is what I really honor that you're talking about is, no, I'm not going to give you something fake. I'm going to tell you where I'm at, but this is the journey I'm on. And you can come on the journey with me. Yeah. And on this journey, we can encounter God. Sure. It's not about the lights and everything else. Yeah. Those are cool. But that the focus should be your relationship with God.
What I've seen, the balance that I think works is that you do all of the stuff. You practice. Sure. You try to build up something that sounds good. Your tech, your equipment, your musicians. You do the things, the process by which good music is created. Yeah. But in the midst of doing all of that, you continuously demean the product and process beneath the one that we are putting it on the altar for. Gotcha. Beneath God. Yeah. You say these lights. Yeah. They're just a thing. Correct. They're not the thing. Correct. This musician, that guitar lick, that singer, that voice, it's just a thing. Okay? It's not
that
the
is not
thing.
What we're worshiping.
That's not what we're worshiping, right? Yeah. And Yeah, people get hung up on that spot because they haven't been talked to about that. They haven't been led in that way. And I think that's an important part of worship leading, is making sure that people understand.
Is leading.
Yeah, is leading. Yeah. Teaching people what it's about.
Well, that ties into, you were talking about insurance and leading people into understanding so that they can benefit from that. You're talking about your family, leading your family and making room for your wife. And now you're talking about leading people into worship. All of what you're talking about leads into the character of who you are. And I can say it's very respectful and very honorable, and I love that about you. But that is who you are. And so what I find is hard for me sometimes is I have to get out of my own way, because I realize that I expect who I am from other people and what I am and what I want. You need to have what I have. And it's like, not necessarily. And the hardest part of being in any type of Christian arena or anything, or even just in the business sector, is going, these are my expectations. These are my things. Here are your expectations. Here's your things. Yeah. And part of the leadership element going, I'm going to hold you accountable to as far as you're willing to go.
Yeah, because we are at the level of church that we're dealing with. You're dealing with volunteers.
Correct.
You're not paying all of your musicians up on stage. You're not paying all of your tech guys.
Nope.
You need people who have lives.
Yep.
You want people who have a heart for God and they have a balanced life. Well, having a balanced life means they got stuff going on outside those doors, just like you and I do.
Absolutely.
And you want that to happen. You want that to be healthy. So you're trying to invite people to commit to something, but the resource that you have to encourage those people oftentimes is passion and vision.
Yeah,
making sure that people see that what they're building is it's happening. Making sure that people see the value of what they're building. Making sure that people can see the value in their own lives and in the lives of others. Of, hey, we put this effort together. And because of that, the music elements did not distract anyone. We were not getting in the way. And God was faithful. God showed up.
Absolutely.
And look at what's happening here.
Correct. Yeah.
And not to say we got to do that every time. We got to make sure that we manufacture the situation so that just as many tears are flowing. We get just as many kudos and
how many tears we have? We had one less than last week. Dang it!
Right.
We switched from purple lights to white lights right when we hit that note.
Yeah, that's right.
30 people every Sunday on the
becoming too formulaic with it.
Yeah.
Means in and of itself you're starting to elevate the product that is the formula.
Absolutely.
You're saying, we figured it out. We know how to make you feel the Holy Spirit whether you want it or not.
For sure.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, no, because now you're saying I'm God for you.
Yeah.
And that's the dangerous place to
be. Doing music, anytime you're in music or anytime you're up on stage for anything, you have to make sure that you're keeping all of those elements like of ego and pride and stuff in check, because it's just so easy to like completely fall apart from that stuff. And I'm really excited with everything over at Confluence. They have, man, I was just so blessed the first week that I led there. They were kind of trying me out a little bit, but I wanted to try them out a little bit.
Sure.
So I basically got to a certain part of the song. I cut the music and I was like, I want to hear y'all sing.
Yeah.
And wow, it was so beautiful.
I love that.
That church, they have a heart for it.
Love it.
And so the culture to worship is already there.
That's amazing.
They're young. This upcoming week, they are on Sunday. We're celebrating year 1 year anniversary of Confluence as Confluence. Now the building has been there for a while. There's a story, and some of the people that have been there for a while. But Confluence, for its namesake, started 1 year ago this upcoming Sunday. But for all of that, they already, even though they're kind of young in some ways, and there are some production stuff that I hope to be able to bring into things, the heart, the culture is already like teed off.
That's amazing.
I'm so blessed to get to come into that, because that normally that would be the first thing that you got to work on.
You got to build the culture up.
We got to go ground up.
Well, that's building a customer, building your base, trying to educate, and get everything going.
Yeah, you come in and you're like, if you start saying, okay, I want to start adding all of these technical elements and these technological elements, but you got half the people on your team are on for the wrong reasons, and your church is expecting completely something that you're not prepared to give, because you're trying to keep this, biblically grounded.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you got some education to do.
Absolutely.
You got to work with the heart. And I'm very blessed to come into a situation where, from what I've seen so far, the heart everybody's heart seems to be in a very good place.
That's so good, man.
I'm just so
I'm
excited.
so excited for you, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm so excited.
It's awesome.
Land the plane for us, man. If people are wanting to, so you're leading worship out of Convergence, one of those services, and then if they want insurance, man, if they want to reach out to you and figure that stuff out, give them an email. Don't do cell phone. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I've had people like, and here's my cell phone. I'm like, and we're gonna edit that out.
Yeah.
Deleted.
Yeah. So Confluence Church is in Auburn. We're doing one service. I believe it's at 9:30 is when it starts. It's hard for me to remember because I'm getting there so much earlier. But you can go check online. Google Confluence Church Auburn. You'll find it. It's the only one there. And then as far as the insurance stuff, the Daniel Gaines Insurance Agency here in Yuba City, we're still, primarily skilled. I'm specializing in a lot of the high fire line stuff. So give me a call. I don't know that my email is so obnoxious and long.
Just go to the site. Go look up that place. Give them a call.
Just go Google Daniel Gaines. In Yuba City,
Perfect.
And you'll find him. So the farmers gave me this email that every single time I get on the phone with someone, I have this ritual of how I have to slowly walk them through there. And if I don't do that, they always end up sending it to the wrong place.
Now I have to hear it.
Okay, so like the way that I say it, it's my first name.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah.
The number 1.
Yes.
Dot.
Yeah.
D Gaines. This is spelled D. Delta, Georgia, Alpha, India, November, Echo, Sierra. Echo Sierra, not Gaines like,
There's no E.
Yeah. There is an E in this one.
Oh, there is.
There is an E.
Yeah.
See, I was already
Not
Right there. That's where I lose people.
Yeah, not Gaines.
Yeah, and we haven't even got to the at symbol yet.
Oh, no.
At farmers.
And when you
make
say
sure
at, Kyle, you mean AT? You're like, no.
No, back it up. And so then they start telling me, okay, so KYLEONE. No, don't spell the one, type the one. It's the number 1. Okay, let's back it up. Let's take this again, okay? You got a pencil? You're writing this down?
You're like, oh, no, I was trying to remember it for later.
At farmersagency.com.
Oh,
not farmer's agent, because that's a different thing. Farmer's agency. So make sure you got all those correct. Yeah, it's obnoxious.
That's a long one.
Yeah, most of the time I say, give me your email. Yeah. And I'll email you, and you reply to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go look us up, it's a farmer's agency, Daniel Gaines, and
that's amazing.
We do everything. We do life. We do homeowners, rental. We do financial. We do auto. The whole thing.
All good stuff.
Whatever.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for being on, brother.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Appreciate you.
It's awesome.
Cut. Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.